everybody.
Hi. Hi
there.
there.
What was the first Zoom tape that you had to do? Do you remember what the scene was?
I think this was my first Zoom tape with Ken, and it was the scene where Buddy and Pat are at Pop's wake, and they're having the talk about Pop, and it's all very emotional. And that scene, even in the drafts, you could definitely read a few words in and know that it's very important to both characters, Pat and Buddy.
Who read that scene with you? Who read Pa's part when you did the Zoom?
It was Ken.
Oh, how was Ken?
Older.
Yeah, right. You know, who really gave you more of the Pa vibe? Was it Jamie or Ken?
Don't answer that.
Both were very similar.
It is about listening and understanding and being willing to put yourself in other folks' shoes, I think, is one of the many takeaways from this film. But this film is also a whole heck of a lot of fun. Even in reading the script, seeing, Ken, your explanation of Chitty Chitty Bang Bang and this brilliant scene in which you transport this family into the movies, you know, why was it so important to, you know, include that homage to the film industry with a scene like that? And then I want to hear from everybody about how much fun it was to play that scene.
Going to the cinema was a way of escaping, you know, an honest way, a positive way of escaping. And everybody has different versions of what that meaningful moment at the movies is. And Jamie, wasn't yours? Were you? It was like Steve Martin films for you. Is that right?
Yeah, I mean that was our the only time we ever went to the pictures as a family. All of us was a Steve Martin film. That was it. Like I'd be brought maybe just me to watch it, like Indiana Jones movies and stuff. But it was if all five of us were going, it was only exclusively Steve Martin.
Did you like Steve Martin films, or were you dragged in because everybody else liked them?
No, I loved them, and you know, in that sort of late 80s to, you know, mid 90s period when he was like white hot, you know, that was a good time to be going to see movies of his. And I sort of do try to carry that on a wee bit with my own kids. I showed our 8-year-old just on YouTube the scene from The Jerk where he's leaving the house and he's grabbing all for me, that's some of the best physical comedy in the world, what he does in that scene. And just to sort of gauge with my daughter, like, I really hope she finds this funny. Like, and even out of context, it's funny. You don't even need to know what's going on in the movie. So it was a strong time for him, and I'm glad. And actually now, I just every time I think about Steve Martin, I smile because it's such a tie-in to good memories with the family. You know.
Hey Jude, which of the Marvel movies? Because I know you might have broken your record for Spider-Man.
I gotta say, Spider-Man: No Way Home was the first film that made me tear a bit, and it's just, I cried 4 times during that film. It's a work of art.
So listen, how did you feel now? How did you feel when we were all on the road a few weeks ago and we got to Paris? And who should, of all the towns in all the places in all the world, who should walk into our table but Showbiz's Tom Holland? What was that like?
As soon as he walked past us, I realized who he was, and it's that moment whenever you're at like a point where you can easily just break, and he spoke a word to me. I broke, and even thinking about it now, it's just.
I remember that moment when he was so emotionally heightened and distraught. He put a napkin over his head to hide. Do you remember that? Tried to hide behind a napkin, God love him.
I think you were incredibly impressed that J.Dornan knew Spider-Man. I think that's what I could see, that your whole impression of Jamie had changed completely because he gave Tom a big hug.
It's actually given him a reason to find me bearable.
And it's funny because we were sitting at the table and everyone was chatting away, and I was just. Even now, I'm still tearing up.
I was going to suggest that your way into the Marvel universe as an actor would be through Kenneth and Thor, since, you know, there's already that connection. But now I think you've got to start hitting up Jamie for that Tom connection.
Yeah, we're gonna work on that. We're gonna link up a little bit more. The cool thing is, Jude, like as soon as Tom sees Belfast, he's gonna be a big fan of yours. Like that's the cool thing.
Jamie, 1 to 5 on the scale of your dancing.
Oh, it's -4 probably. I'm not a natural mover really. The behind the scenes footage of that day should stay behind the scenes. I think stay buried. It was. It's not my happy place really, but you know.
But he lies. Can I just say he totally lies? In all rehearsals, he's like, "Oh, I'm terrible at this. I'm terrible about this. I'm terrible at this." When it actually came to doing it, the only person who made mistakes was me. And you're like, you had it down.
That's right. You know, it was. Yeah, I mean, my ineptitude was matched by Katrina's, thankfully.
Person aside from Tom Holland that you've met or that has maybe said that they're a fan of this movie, who have you heard really likes this movie?
Wow. Everyone. I can't explain. It's just
Right.
it's crazy, all the names. And then in the moment, I'm terrible with names, to be honest.
The entire Academy.
They were there. I was there too, and it was a rousing applause. Then followed, of course, by an impromptu performance by Jamie of "Everlasting Love," a night that we can't forget.
Feels like a lifetime ago. That the idea that, you know, we've like gone backwards since that in terms of our freedoms, which that's sort of depressing to think about actually.
Jamie, on the night, did you? Not that I wish to encourage the audience here to indulge in drink, but had you planned that there might be an amount of drink or an amount of sips that would get you to the point where you were going to do that great big brave thing?
My father always said that adults are always 2 gin and tonics below or above par, and basically by that means that like that's the sweet spot. That was his sweet spot. Like when he was 2 gin and tonics, he was the best version of himself socially. But then if you don't have 2 gin and tonics, if you haven't had any yet, you're a bit, you know, fearful, whatever, and you've had too many, nobody wants to be around you. So I think I got that. I think I hit my dad's sweet spot. I think I had my version of 2 gin tonics, which was 2 dirty vulgar martinis, was just about perfect for me to find the sort of audacity and confidence to get up there.
Well, I think attention also has to be paid to the idea that it's a full choreographed dance number as well. Katrina, you had to get in there on screen, and then you and Jude recreated a little bit of it in the moment as well.
Well, yeah, I got abandoned, so I needed a good dance partner, and Jude Hill was ready to step up, and he did some good twirls.
Thank you, guys.